Oh, why can't some people just be nice? Where's the humanity? Do you like my song? It's my song of pain. Greetings, weary traveler. Welcome to the Reaction Sleepover. This is where we get cozy, because we need all the coziness possible to react to these stories of Bridezillas and other weddingzillas. Because as we like to say, feelings are valid. But once you start using that to mistreat other people, that's where you crossing the line, my friend. So, we're going to read these stories of people doing that, experience lots of internal pain, but also hopefully learn something from it, and cope with humor along the way. Although it pains me, this behavior also fascinates me. Hence why we're here! So, remember to grab your cozies and snackies, and let's head on into it. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my sister's wedding? To start, I'll say that my parents are already offering to chip in for her. That's helpful. Nice. They didn't chip in for me even though they offered. I rejected them as my husband paid for the entire thing. Wow. That's impressive. Go him. He's very wealthy, and so are his side of the family, so it was a very big, extravagant wedding. My sister is one of my bridesmaids, and I paid for her bridesmaid dress and paid for everything. I spent hours organizing my wedding and spent a lot of money and organization to make it the best day ever. As you should. My sister helped me with my hen weekend, a little with organization and not financially. My best friend and maid of honor helped me with most of everything. Anyways, my sister now is getting married and she wants my husband to pay for it. Here comes back the songbird of pain. Singing and humor is how we cope with these stories. To just say, hey, I want you, brother-in-law, to pay for my wedding. Sure, we have no other context, but asking that in itself, that's a little sketchy. I don't find that very appropriate behavior. It's 22,000 pounds. I feel the weight of that on my shoulders as we speak. That's so much money! I'm deeply uncomfortable already. And if you're telling me she gets angry at them saying no, at paying for her wedding with their money, because it's their money, then I am going to be severely disappointed. You are not entitled to other people's money, okay? That she wants us to pay for. We told her that that's ridiculous, and they are completely entitled to say no. And that's where it should end. We told her that's ridiculous and she should try to pay for her own wedding or get our parents to help, because that makes a lot more sense. If OP and their husband wanted to pay as a gift, that is a completely different story. But no, unfortunately, that's not what's happening here. We've just skipped right to, I'm entitled to your money. Give me. That is stinky behavior. She then got angry at me saying my wedding was 1,000 times more expensive and that I had the money and wasn't being fair. It's our money. We don't have to give you any of it. How is that not fair? Oh, the entitlement is stinky. Like, bro, yes, it was more expensive because we made it happen. Because that was our choice. If you want something that nice, do not demand other people to pay for it. Boggles my noggin that people actually think they can ask for other people's money, just like straight up. That's wild. Do not do that. It's a quick ticket to no friendship land. Her friends and her husband have been saying that we are snobby. We're the snobby ones! And treat them badly and won't pay anything towards their wedding when my sister helped out so much with mine. Did OP even say... I'm guessing the OP is a she. She said my sister was one of my bridesmaids and I paid for her bridesmaid dress and paid for everything. How exactly did you help out? If it's emotional support, it doesn't really sound like she did much of that either. I've even gotten messages from some of her friends calling me an awful person. She needs better friends. Like, how in the world is OP being the rude one? Because even when people gift you money, whatever amount, like a person could give me like $5, and that's like, you were nice enough to give me 5 of your own dollars. Like, thank you so much. Like, can I do anything for you in return? Because, like, anyone gives you any money out of the kindness for their heart. Like, you shouldn't even take that for granted. Like, I cannot imagine being in this entitled mindset of like, it belongs to me, give. Becoming Scrooge McDuck over here. Someone even said that apparently she married her husband for the right reasons and not for money, which really upset me. Wow, you're going there? That is so immature. Like, really? You're gonna go there now? Do better, please. This is obnoxious. This is completely unnecessary. I don't know if there's anything I could do or if I'm in the wrong for refusing that. No, I'm quite proud of you for holding your ground, because if she's gonna act like that and then like throw shade by saying I didn't marry my husband for money, like I'm sure your husband's lovely, like that was completely uncalled for. No, proud of OP. Sister, seek help please, cause it is so rude to be entitled to people's money. This is not worth compromising your relationships. Why would you do this? The videographer was a saint after Bridezilla plagiarized his work. Say what? I was at a wedding recently where the bride was made aware the week beforehand that videographers don't hand over the raw, unedited footage they record. This annoyed the bride, so to ensure that she captured all the footage, a family friend spent the whole ceremony and reception using their iPhone and a cheap videographer set, following the professional photographer around, like right behind him. And then every time the videographer turns around, they're just like, what? Turns back around, that immediately back to
getting all the goods.
Living out their dreams of being undercover. This was one of a long list of things that Bridezilla demanded on the day, but can't reveal more. The videographer was a saint and didn't say a word about it. Probably hear them behind him. He hears the little steppies of the person trying to be sneaky. But they're so obvious. The poor thing is just trying to do his job and he's just deeply uncomfortable by this person clearly right behind them, breathing down their neck. Help me. As his professional work was literally being replicated. If I was him, I would have ended the night and emailed them the next morning for breach of contract. Oh, good point, dude. Like, come on. Like, that's gotta be some violation. Kept the money and supplied nothing. It was horrendous to watch. Yeah, it would be like funny, but also like, what are you doing? Why are you like this? Is that a common practice? Like, they don't, I guess, yeah, they're saying that. Like, videographers don't hand over the raw, unedited footage. And yeah, I guess if you really want that, that's a shame. But like, why'd someone have to be Pink Panther about it? Why couldn't they just like record different things so they didn't literally like plagiarize his work? Ah, that's funny. I just like that image is so funny in my mind. Ooh, you'll never catch me. We got one more that's anonymous and it's a short story from my sister's wedding. Tell me, friend. Hey, so this happened a few years ago and I thought you might like hearing this story. Sorry for any spelling or grammar mistakes. No worries, fam. So when my sister got married, I, at the time 16 or 17 female, along with my older cousins were bridesmaids. Because I'm terrible with anything makeup, same. My cousins were going to do my hair and makeup. I can't exactly remember how it happened, but after makeup, one cousin was curling my hair when it accidentally hit the corner of my eye. I'm so sorry. That is so... So one time someone was straight ironing my hair and she accidentally like clipped my hair and that hurt on my ear. Your eye? Which I hope not the inner corner. It would probably be the outer corner. Get the corner. I'm about to die. It'd probably be the outer corner. But your eyes are so sensitive. Naturally, I was in pain and had started to cry because it hurt that bad. It's your eye, of course. Both of them had started berating me for crying, denying that I had been burned by it. Excuse me. You cannot gaslight me here. I'm literally feeling the pain, and you did it. Plus, like, it's a very natural response, literally physically, to cry when you're in pain. Like, are they calling you a wimp for crying or something? Dude, it was a freaking curling iron. Do they expect you to just hold it in? They claimed I was hit by the plastic, not the hot metal. And you're like, I'm pretty sure I can tell. And telling me I need to stop crying or it'll ruin the makeup. You can do the makeup again. Like, okay, I can understand that it would take a while to do some makeup. And it would be frustrating. But like, someone gets hurt, can you prioritize that first? I understand that it would be annoying to have to do it again. But like, she's in physical pain. Just give it... chill. I think someone's eyeball, one of the most sensitive parts of the body, is a little bit more important than how the makeup looks. Priorities, man. Now, to their credit, the makeup somehow was done so well that it did cover up the burn mark. As I checked the mirror and saw nothing. When I come back, though, it somehow got brought up that I was on my period. And they both, despite being women themselves, were like, oh, no wonder you're being irrationally You're being irrationally unsympathetic, ma'am. Do you want to try? Girl, you know what it's like to be on your period. It's awful. Like, fam, maybe if it's not that bad for you, keep in mind that it can be literal hell for someone else. Like, where it's just light cramps for you, to someone else can feel like stabbing. Don't pull that misogynistic bull honky. It's like even worse coming from a woman too, because it's like, you literally know what this is like. Like, I will say, there are times I get angry and or cry at like dumb things because our hormones are out of whack. Like, I already feel dumb. Don't make me feel even more dumb. And that's not even related to this. You literally got burned by hot metal. If there's any reason to cry at that, that's very justified. Wedding was good, but when I took off my makeup, there was a very clear burn mark. Luckily, nothing serious. You're like, I am Zuko reincarnated. I was rightfully upset that they had not only lied about it, but tried to justify my reaction by me being on my period. Like, where is the empathy? Thankfully, my sister was also upset at the time, as it made me feel better about the situation. I'm glad that you had some backup here. So there's my story. I hope you enjoyed it to at least some degree. And before anyone asks, no, they never apologized. Well, I'm sorry you went through that. That sucks booty. It just doesn't even make sense to me. Like, trying to gaslight you into thinking that you didn't actually, especially after you get the burn mark, and then trying to break you down even further by using the very misogynistic take of, oh, you're irrational because you're on your period. Like, girl, you're supposed to understand what that's like. What are you doing? What a mess. But I'm glad your sister was like, yeah, what? What's wrong with them? I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad it didn't sound too serious. Sorry you had to deal with this tomfoolery. As usual, the gremlin came out multiple times during this session of story reading. It's just so interesting hearing, like, you know, we've done a lot of wedding stories, but just like stories in general of like weird things that happen, weird behaviors you see. It's just like, how do people get to that point? How is there no empathy here? What debauchery do we have today? I just love this person's name. Sly Pickle. I feel like that implies an awkward pickle. We've all been in an awkward pickle. Friend was throwing a fake wedding for gifts. That's a new one. It's not even a real wedding. A close friend of mine told me she was planning her wedding that they weren't actually going to get married. I feel like the next sentence should have started with, let me explain. She wanted to do it for social media and for gifts. I was asked to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. Plot twist, these are all 6-year-olds. We're playing house. You're my bridesmaid. I had my dress and everything. She told me 8 months before her wedding. I was shocked and appalled. Her reasons for not wanting to actually legally marry him were crazy. Long story short, I told her I couldn't stand up in her wedding knowing all of this and immediately resold my bridesmaid dress. I never talked to her again. It's crazy the extent people will go to. I often wonder if she went through with the sham of a wedding. It's like a small part of me is like, that's genius. But it's also so devious. Because if the implication is that she's tricking everyone into thinking that she is getting married, like just for gifts and for social media, I guess. Again, it's one of those, it's genius, but it's also like, how do you just do that? Trick people into giving you gifts. So devious. I sit upon a throne of kitchen utensils and hand towels. The master plan. Edit. He didn't know about this. He thought they'd be legally married. Poor guy. She told me she was never going to send it in. Is this real? This sounds so fake. I both want it to be real, but I also am desperate for it to be fake. Because it's so... I can't even think of a word for it. Devious is the only thing that comes up. It's just like evil genius, you know? Edit. She also wanted us to spend $3,000 each on her bachelorette party. The fake bachelorette party. For a wedding. Goodbye, voice. For a wedding that wasn't even happening, so she could post about her batch party on social media. And wanted all of her bridesmaids to pay $750 each for her bridal shower. I unfortunately had to eat the cost for my flight as I decided not to go either after she told me about this fake wedding. I Huh? It's actually making me a little speechless right now because I don't know if I've ever heard of someone doing a fake wedding. Like racking my brain trying to think like, what could she have done instead that would have been less maniacal? Like if you're really wanting gifts, that's what birthdays and Christmases are for. If there's some things you really, really want, just put it on your list or save up to get it yourself. Wow. I feel like I just don't have any like funny things to say because I just don't even know what to say. I am flabbergasted. I am bamboozled. I have been hoodwinked. Apparently, if I were one of these guests, I would have been hoodwinked. Props to you, Sly Pickle, for dealing with a sly bride because this story is both incredible and I'm just so like, that's so embarrassing. You don't have to have a fake wedding to get gifts you want. Especially not tricking someone into fake marrying you and they're not even in on it. They don't even get to be in on the sham. Again, the amount of effort just to get gifts and post on like Instagram. There are much better ways to get likes on Instagram and get gifts you want that don't take as much work. Because having to like pretend all the time, that's too exhausting. Like, I'm already an anxious person. I can't handle lying. I'm worrying about being weird about normal things I'm doing. That is just honestly amazing. Just what leads you to this chain of events? She's just continuing the family legacy of scammers. This is a tradition. Her whole family is done. But the thing she didn't fulfill is that she actually ended up finding the love of her life, because that's why the tradition kept going. Because they actually just ended up finding the one for them every time. I hope she's doing okay, because this impresses me. But impresses me in the kind of way where I'm worried about you. Way to start off with a bang. Am I the a-hole for not attending my cousin's wedding because I am not in it? Brace yourselves, it's a long one. My cousin, 25 female, was a bridesmaid in my, 33 female, wedding a year ago. Shortly after she was engaged herself. She sees some event styling I've done and asks if I will throw her a bridal shower since I'm so talented. Did she do that? You are so talented. I tell her I would be honored, that she should just send me her bridesmaids info as I live several states away and would need local help. At the time, she tells me that she will just have a maid of honor. I said I understood and to just send me that person's info so we could work together. 10 months later, I see on Instagram that my cousin has sent out our bridesmaid proposals. More air quotes. Here's your bridesmaid proposal. To several women. The same day, she calls me asking if I'm still willing to throw her a bridal shower. I told her that I was more than happy to help still, but that I saw that she has several local friends as bridesmaids now that could help /host/plan. She told me that they don't really want to do that, and they aren't going to throw her one. That's unfortunate. She tells me she'll get back to me. I love the image of this woman just only talks in air quotes. Just all the passive aggression. Oh, I love you. You're my friend. You're just like, well, can you just talk to me like a normal person? She's like, sure. Okay, I'm done. A couple days later, I get a mass text from my aunt, cousin's mom, inviting all the ladies in the family to a bridal shower 2 weeks away. I text her and ask if she's hosting and how I can help. She tells me that she'll have my cousin let me know what's needed. Okay. Turns out my cousin is now throwing her own bridal shower, and I received a 30+ items list of things she needs from me. I have a habit of being too nice and allowing myself to be walked over, so I tried setting a firm boundary and told her I could take a few of the things off her list, but that most of the needs were better suited for someone local. That seems fair. 30 plus. It doesn't even end at 30. Ugh. And like she said, it's not necessarily that I am not willing to help you. I'm just literally not there. I will do the things I can. Let's see how well this plays out. Games, game cards, and balloons are what I took on. I fully personalized games and paper goods, including a crossword puzzle, had them printed, ordered custom golf pencils, etc. What's a golf pencil? It's hard to type with one hand. Oh, it's literally just a pencil. For some reason, my mind immediately went to like a pencil shaped like a golf. As if you could somehow write with that. She then asks if on top of these duties, if I can make her wedding invites for the wedding in 1.5 months. Months? I assume that's months. I agreed, made custom invites, RSVP cards, rehearsal dinner invites. She ordered them. I don't make very much money, but showing up and showing out for my cousin was a must in my mind, because you are a sweet angel soul. It's what family does. You're so kind. I have a bad feeling she's gonna take advantage of this. I feel like every story we read of someone unfortunately dealing with a Bridezilla or some kind of Zilla, like let's this whole community, like, we're gonna do a big group hug for him, okay? Like, you are safe here. It's okay. We haven't even got to the drama part. I'm just like bracing myself. I don't make very much money, but showing up and showing, oh, that's, I already read that. So I got the most affordable flights. I almost read it as fights. Most affordable fights. They're gonna be in a cage match. This is the bridal shower. Let's go! Whoever wins the Macy's gift card. Is Macy's even still around? So I got the most affordable flights I could that had a ridiculous turnaround and leveraged myself a bit, trying to make all the things I did special for her. I arrived early the day before the brunch shower, and after breakfast together as a family, went straight into helping however I could, which ended up being a lot. Go on. Don't just spill the tea. Knock it over. Nothing had been done when I arrived. Why? Like, I'm assuming you didn't get there when it started. It would make sense that people would be doing things before you arrived. No decor, no food, no plans, no balloon pump as requested. I ended up blowing up hundreds of balloons by mouth. Ugh, the plastic. She had to brush her teeth like 5 times that night. Just gasping for breath. I did it! Seriously, blowing up balloons by yourself is no joke. Was she the only one blowing up the balloons? Oh, come on. Blowing up balloons is like, that's a group activity. All in, I was up until nearly 1 a.m. working with my family to pull off the IG-worthy shower. So it sounds like at least other members were helping. That's good. During this time, my cousin had made a few comments. Man, I should have invited you to the engagement party. I didn't know you were so good at this stuff. I never knew there was an engagement party, and I wasn't gonna have any bridesmaids, but then John had 6 groomsmen, so I had to come up with 6 people fast. So I just started picking people. I was still short, so I thought I'd just ask one of his girl cousins. I told her at the time that I honestly found that a bit offensive, that she didn't even consider one of her several female cousins on our side. I told her it was kind of hurtful to hear how nonchalant the picking was, and we still weren't even considered. Yeah, that's a little weird. Like, benefit of the doubt, maybe she felt panicked, I guess, because she did have to come up with people fast, but wouldn't you think that the first people you think of are the people who are closest to you? Seems fishy. She laughed awkwardly and moved on to a new subject. I didn't press it because I didn't want to make a big deal on her special weekend. I kept working, and at 2 a.m. even made her a Snapchat filter. You can do that? Wow. For the day because I knew she wanted one. The next morning, I was up early finishing things with my family. The games, the itinerary, the cleaning, I end up doing it all of it? All of it? What was your family doing? As much as I kept trying to encourage delegation to others, I was being asked to do more? What the heck is wrong with everyone? Did everyone just sit around playing Candy Crush or something while you did everything? They're just like, yes, that looks fine. Keep going. Carry on, servant. Like, what in the audacity? Also, that's like low-key a merch idea I've had. I have plenty of like merch ideas. Let me know if you'd be interested in merch, because I know I'm a small channel, but I mean, it's something, it's a little bit of a dream to like, you know, do merch. That would be cool. But anyway, the idea is audacity, like it's audacity, but instead of a Y, it's T-E-A, audacity. Or it could be like, what in the audacity? I don't know. What do you think of that? I didn't complain. I didn't grimace. I tried to put my cousin's feelings and desires first. Not one bridesmaid helped? What? That's so weird, dude. Why does like no one seem to care? Seems like everyone's taking advantage of you. That sucks. Hug time. Come here. At that point, you should have been like, listen here, you little leeches. You're gonna go do this. I'm not doing all of this. Ooh, rage is occurring. The rage is starting. Eye twitches engaged. The shower was wrapping up, and as I was cleaning, I heard my name from the mouths of a group of girls who were discussing how they were going to ask if they could use my employer's $1 million Airbnb for the bachelorette, but that since I wasn't coming to the batch, they didn't. I was never even told nor invited. I mean, this person isn't a bridesmaid, so like technically I guess she doesn't have to go, but like, what At this point, she's like honorary bridesmaid, right? She's literally doing everything, and these seemingly ungrateful little worms aren't doing a thing. It was then I realized I was being used. Thank goodness. I hope you stood up for yourself. I'd only slept a few hours in 2 days. Go take a nap, please. You deserve it. I hadn't had an opportunity to enjoy this time with family. I had given it all I had. I was at a breaking point. I excused myself, changing to head to the airport for my flight in 2 hours, and started feeling pretty emotional. Oh, I can't blame you. One of my aunts came into my room whilst I was packing and mentioned the way the bridesmaids were acting, and I couldn't help it but I started to cry. Unknown to me, she called my cousin's dad. Oh, yes. Yes! Consequences! And shared with him that I was upset. Next thing I know, my cousin and her intoxicated mother are in my room screaming at me. Deep breaths, everybody. How dare you ruin her special day? What the F is wrong with you? And more. I'm fine. Let's continue. I didn't even get a word in. I was asked to leave and did. Probably screamed at to leave. A week later, I received an invite to the wedding. It wasn't the one I made? The one you spent money to... your hard-earned money to make? They threw out all the work I had done. No, they did not. I never got an apology for the way I was verbally accosted, or even the basic courtesy of asking, why are you upset? Oh, gee, empathy. Oh, what a concept. It's almost like people aren't robots, and you shouldn't treat them like that. I sing to soothe the rage. All right, I'm getting too warm. All right, normal Amanda's back. See how long she sticks around. Our family has been split down the middle now, with half the family not going to the wedding and others going because they didn't want to pick sides. I mean, by going to the wedding, you kinda have. And that's what sucks about stuff like this. Like, it shouldn't be about, like, picking sides. It should be about, like, communicating in a healthy way to resolve the issue so that we can continue. Or, like, not engage anymore. Because sometimes, when it comes to certain people, you just can't. Because it's just better for everyone in the long run if you just don't engage anymore. But she didn't even get a chance to do that. Obviously, this would be in a perfect world that we didn't have to, like, take sides. Sometimes, really... people really test those waters, don't they? Because it's like you want to have empathy. I mean, speaking from my experience, you want to have empathy for the people who are acting terrible. Because, like, you understand there's a reason for it. Clear distinction between reason and excuse. There can be a reason for something without excusing the horrid behavior. Remember, feelings are valid. Mistreating people is not. So it's like, you want to have empathy. But ooh, people make it hard, don't they? That's the thing. There's always a reason. That does not make it an excuse. Okay? Moving on. Stating things like, you know she's young and immature. She's spoiled, you know this. Or things like this have a way of working themselves out. Saying, I should be the mature... By just laying down and taking it? Are you kidding me? No! Nay! Are these the same people that are supposedly not taking sides? From what I'm reading, this just translates to enabling bad behavior. Stop. Desist. It's like, why do you think she's spoiled? You think there's a reason for it? I tried texting and calling my cousin every day for a week after the shower to fix this, because I'm trying to be the mature one and communicate, to air my feelings and have an adult conversation. I got one response, saying she wasn't in the right mindset to deal with my drama. It's not drama, it's a legitimate issue. And, like, obviously we don't know what tone that was said in. Benefit of the doubt again. It could be like, oh, like, I'm just not in the right mindset to do this. Like, let me cool down first so I can have this conversation. That's better. But given what we've read, it sounds like it's more the petty kind, where it's like, I don't want to talk to you. But that I should still come to the wedding and eventually we'll talk. Post that message, I've heard she's telling family members that initially came to her shower to make a scene and ruin her day.
Why are you the way that you are?
And then I'm just upset I'm not in the wedding. Oh, you hear that? The sound of my blood pressure rising. I do think it's odd that not one single member of our side of the family is in the wedding, while other families are represented somehow. That's still pretty weird. Like, why was your first thought to not include your family. And I do think it's sad that her bridesmaid selections didn't have more substance. I don't really know what that means. It felt like a slap in the face to be talked about for what I could offer, but never asked to actually be part of her wedding. That's the craziest thing too. Though, like, not only the bride, but the entire family took advantage of her kindness, her poor sweetheart, to do literally, it sounds like everything with like setup and she didn't even sleep for like 2 days just to turn around and say like, you're ruining my wedding, when she was just trying to like not break down. She did break down into tears because she was so exhausted. You couldn't muster enough empathy to see how she was doing based on the things that you were making her do? I'm fine. A lack of empathy is very sad. I think if she really cared or really wanted me there, she'd have taken the time to address this. Period. Proud of you for understanding your worth in this regard. We are family. If the shoe were on the other foot, I would have asked my crying cousin what was wrong. Gee, someone cries and you want to see if something's wrong and see how you can help them? Ew, according to everyone, apparently. Am I the a-hole for boycotting? Should I have taken the high road? This is you taking the high road. You're placing boundaries. Wow. Boundaries are good, especially when everyone's acting like immature butt wipes. I missed the wedding and other family members did too. Half the family isn't talking now. The ripple effect has been insane. I can't help but feel like I should have just taken the blame and gone to the wedding and kissed her. Just to avoid the fallout. Like, this mess is on me, like I had some hurt feelings. I'm really glad you didn't go to the wedding. I'm glad that you put your foot down eventually to be like, hey, this is kind of not fair. You did the right thing, not the a-hole. I'm so sorry. Let's take a cleansing breath, everyone, if you got as heated as I did. That was a long one. This story could be a video in itself. Maybe it will be. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be a mega episode. Sounds fun. This is the sleepover after all. Did I? I did say reaction sleepover. We're good. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiance my daughter has to be in our wedding? I, 45 male, have a daughter, P, from a previous relationship. I divorced my ex-wife on good terms and we share 50-50 custody of P. She is now 11. After I divorced my ex-wife, I met my now fiance, S. S and my daughter got along very well. After 5 years in my relationship with S, I proposed. Yay!
Oh yeah? Watch this!
S was super excited and wanted to start planning right away. She looked at venues and started asking her friends to be her bridesmaids. Naturally. She then told me she wanted her niece to be a flower girl, which I had no problem with, but I also wanted P to be a flower girl. S looked at me funny and then said that she didn't think that P would fit the part. Okay. See, in these, I try to understand where everyone's coming from, right? That's what we try to do. We try to encourage empathy. Because empathy is the key. We're trying to understand why she feels that way, like she doesn't fit the part. I mean, what exactly doesn't she fit though? She's also going to be your stepdaughter, so I don't know if it's a great idea to leave her out of it. Just a thought! Even when people are acting like turds or when they're being weird, like, I want to understand where they come from, right? But like, how would you come to that conclusion about your future stepdaughter? I feel like if you want to be on the right foot, you include her. And it sounds like she's young. Oh, she's 11, so she's not that young. But like, she's fully aware of what's happening. I just don't give her a reason to not like you. And I personally don't see a reason why to not include her. It feels like such a weird bridge to burn. I got angry and told S that my daughter would be in our wedding. S started to become upset and said the girls in the wedding were up to her and P wouldn't be one of them. Why though? Assuming OP just hasn't included it for some reason, S just hasn't given a reason for why not. She's just saying no for no reason. I'm so confused. It's like, yes, it's her wedding and like she should do what she wants, but like at the same time, why are you so adamant on your future daughter-in-law? Daughter-in-law? No, wrong one. Why are you so adamant on your future stepdaughter not being in it? Homeskillet. I told S that if P wasn't in the wedding, then there might not be a wedding. Ultimatum! I stormed out and took P to get ice cream. He's like, I need to cool off too. Give me that ice cream. They're sitting in the ice cream shop. P is like, Dad, are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine. P knows we were getting married. I'd hope so. And told me she thinks she will look pretty whatever dress S decides she should wear. This broke my heart and I decided to text S. She's even being a really good sport about it. And it's like, man, we're trying to understand all parties because we try to do that here, even through the pain. Yes, she should do what she wants during the wedding, but it's also not only her wedding. I feel like people can lose sight of that when they're very fixated on their big day. They just like, they only want to make it about them. And it's like, first of all, in this situation, you're marrying into an already established family. Like, it's just them two, sure, but that's still a family. And like, you should factor that in. And then even when it's like the more traditional, like the two couple gets together before they have the family, because both are valid, it's still your partner's wedding day too. And I don't understand why a person wouldn't want to factor that in. It's like, if you really care about them, you wouldn't discard what they want. And you know, the common trope is that guys don't typically have input, right? Like, that's the common joke. But like, if they do, like, don't disregard that, especially when it involves your future stepdaughter. And this girl's 11. Like, she's fully, like, kids are smart. Like, they understand what's going on. I'm sure that P, like, can to at least some degree see what's going on. And you know, that poor thing, like, if she understands at all what's going on, she's just like, why doesn't she want me? Like, why would you want to even take the chance to do that? Like, do you want her to hate you? I can just so see that as, like, if you're really that adamant on not wanting her in the wedding, that would probably hurt her feelings. And why would you want to hurt her feelings? Even if there's a reason why, like, it makes sense for her to not want her in the wedding, I don't know. I'm trying to see it because empathy. But even then, it's like the bridge you have to burn to, like, truly, like, not have her in the wedding, both with her and your future husband. I don't know if that's worth it, man. Being in that position, I would want to do everything I could to be on good terms with both of them. I told her I would be staying at a friend's to think this over. My mother-in-law texted me saying I am overreacting and that my daughter doesn't have to be in my wedding. That sentence is so sad though. Why? There's gotta, like, what is your reasoning for not wanting her in the wedding? Because I'd like to think whenever it comes to, like, someone being an a-hole, whatever, I like to think that it's miscommunication and, unfortunately, like, insecurity coming out, right? And by reading these stories and talking about things like this, we try to understand that, like, there's probably a reason why they're acting this way, why the insecurity is taking over and they can't be secure in themselves or with their relationships. And we can understand that there's a reason for it. That doesn't mean we excuse it. Be very clear right now. But it's like, clearly, both her and the mother-in-law think they are in the right for not including the daughter, and it seems like it's because of the fixation of, like, it's my day, and it's like, fam, I get that, but in pursuit of that, you are disregarding everyone else, and that's so rude. And if you truly think you aren't in the wrong, please just consider the other's perspective, because if more of that was going on in, like, this situation and beyond, if people on all sides could try to understand where other people are coming from, generally speaking, right? Like, there are some things where, like, people are truly in the wrong, right? But it can still be useful to try to understand, like, why are they acting the way they're acting? Because they are clearly not acting in their best selves. And again, we're not using that to excuse the behavior, but we can use that to humanize them and understand why they're acting the way they're acting, and then act accordingly. Be like, hey, I don't understand why you're acting this way, but this is not fair to me, and I need you to understand where I'm coming from, which he's trying to do. At least it seems like it, you know? I'm gonna finish the sentence now. And that I was an A for saying that I would cancel. So did I take it too far for saying I will cancel? Am I overreacting or just being a good dad? I don't see why it's so hard to want your own daughter in your wedding, because this is his wedding too. And if this is something she really truly will not budge on when it's, like, important to him too, because it's not like they should only do what she wants, they shouldn't only do what he wants. What it should be is figuring out what you want to do together as a couple, as a unit, and be united. And if it's like, if this alone is already showing that she's not willing to be united with him in any way, and not willing to compromise in any way, is it really even that wrong for him to say that he will maybe cancel? Because it's like, it just shows that if she's gonna be this, like, against him in this matter, imagine other things where she won't be unified with him and that she'll just fight him. Do you really want to spend your life with someone like that when they're that insecure that they are just refusing to understand your side of it? It sounds like mother-in-law isn't helping either. But yeah, if she's gonna be this like against you in this like small matter, I don't know if she's ever gonna be on your side. So honestly, like with all that said, I don't think he's that unwarranted for saying that he will cancel, because like it's his daughter. The person that S is choosing to be part of. And if you're gonna choose to be part of this family, you need to commit to it. And there's an update, my dudes. Hey Reddit, thanks everyone for the kind words and suggestions. To answer a few questions, my daughter is not disabled, chubby, or having an awkward phase, braces/glasses. Even if any of that was true, those should not matter. At all. People who are fixated on like the aesthetic, it's like, yeah, I want to understand that you want your perfect day and that you want things to look nice, but outward appearance is not all that matters. In my opinion, what really matters is like how happy is everyone, including you. Sure, like your happiness does matter, my guy, but like again, that pursuit of trying to make it picture perfect and burning bridges to achieve that, you're gonna be all alone on the other island. I would not suggest burning the bridge. It's just things like that are just not worth ruining your relationships over. I did ask if P could be a groomsman. S immediately shot me down. Why? That's such a cute idea. Can you imagine her in a little suit? And like the immediate shooting down, it just comes across as she only cares about how perfect everything looks, and unfortunately, in her mind, that doesn't include the daughter, which is just so sad. If you want to be part of this family, act like it. And that really just ties into like, that's a big red flag. Like, come on. S is 39, she's the same race as my daughter, this is her first marriage. I tried to answer in many comments as possible. I came home to talk to S today. When I pulled in our driveway, my mother-in-law was sitting there in her car. I was waiting for you. Let's have a chat. She brings out Russian roulette. You're like, oh. I got out and went inside, trying to avoid talking to mother-in-law. S was sitting at the kitchen table and I joined her. She sat in silence, so I asked the first question. Why does P not fit the part, and why don't you want her in the wedding at all? Her answer full-on shocked me. Brace yourselves. She quietly said, I was hoping that after the wedding, you could become a holiday visit only dad. What? Like only visiting you? Wait, no. You want to lessen his presence in his daughter's life? Not today, homeskele. Wow, the insecurity is overwhelming. Because you... Wow. Girl. Huh? You really expect him to be negligent? When he clearly cares very much about his daughter? That's horrible. Therapy, I say. I didn't want her in the wedding so she wouldn't be in the photos around the house since she wasn't going to be around much. When your benefit of the doubt fails you. And it's not really the benefit of the doubt that she had a good reason, because I just really didn't see how there could have been a good reason for her to not want her in the wedding. But more so the benefit of the doubt of like, anyone who acts like this is clearly not acting in their best selves, not their best versions of themselves. And so it's like, if your insecurity is this overwhelming that like, this to me seems like jealousy of the daughter because she wants all of OP's attention. She clearly has some struggles she needs to work through. I suggest in therapy, like truly, like please go get therapy. And like benefit of the doubt to explain that and get vulnerable with OP. And she did not live up to that. Like, wow. Insecurity makes you do wild things. This is not the explanation, nor the entire behavior of a secure person. I kept my cool, calmly took her hand, and pulled my engagement ring off. Good guy. Like, not even putting up with the behavior at all. Because that's absolutely what you should do in this moment. It's like, okay, you're clearly not ready to be married, let alone in a committed relationship. Because if you're really going to be jealous of my daughter for my attention, and you don't see anything wrong with that, then oh my goodness, please go to therapy. And I love that way of handling it, of just like, I'm just not even gonna put up with this. Like, this relationship is over because you're not being an adult. Sorry. Hope you can figure that out. Goodness gracious. Her eyes started to tear up. She said we shouldn't end this marriage over this and that she can change. I mean, I hope you can heal and grow, but it ain't gonna be with me. I told her the damage was already done. I told her I wanted her things moved out by next week and that she should come get them when my daughter wasn't home. The house is in my name and I paid for it. I was allowing her to get her furniture that she paid for. I love the way OP handles this. I'm so proud of you. Because, like, you're not putting up with this, but you're doing it in such a kind way. She stormed out and mother-in-law came knocking. I forgot she was there. Boo! Saying I was being unreasonable. Girl, how? I couldn't imagine only seeing my daughter 3 or 4 times a year. The fact that S wanted me to give up part of my custody blew me away. Especially when someone's like clearly in their kid's life and they want to be actively in their life and you want them to stop that for you? How do you even get to a point where that's like a valid, reasonable thing to ask? To demand, really. Seriously, your insecurity's gotta be through the roof at that point. No emotionally secure person does this. I'm sitting on my couch just in shock. Me too. Because like I'm trying to understand why a person could be acting like this. It's just hard to picture because clearly something's going on where she feels like she has to be like this to obtain a secure relationship. And that's very unfortunate that she can't like trust her partner that much. Girl's got some like attachment issues that I really do hope she figures out, because you can't treat other people like that. You cannot marry into a family and then expect that family to like not be a thing. Guy, no. No, girl, no. Our honeymoon was supposed to be in Hawaii. Looks like me and P will be going instead. Yay! Good. I will update again if anything happens. No, again, I am very proud of you for the way you handled this, because you never like blew up at her. You never said anything that wasn't fair. You just went, this relationship's over because you are not mature enough for this relationship at all. And I hope you do change and that you grow and that whoever you end up next will be, that you'll be ready for that. But that ain't gonna be with me. Goodbye. So, not the a-hole. Because he wasn't an a-hole in any sense of the word in this story. He was always trying to be communicative and like never blew up at her and set and upholded his boundaries. Like everything, yeah. Prime example of what you should do is like, I don't have to put up with this. Groom's parents owned the wedding venue and I'm never going back. I, female 22, have done wedding photography and videography for the past 3 years. A friend of mine asked me to help shoot a wedding with her friend. We'll call the lead photographer Allie, as a second shooter a few months ago, and I agreed. I met Allie, female 26, the day of the wedding in the morning when we showed up at the venue. She's been running her photography business for a few years, so she knows what she's doing. The venue we were shooting at is a repurposed historic building that is a coffee shop with venue capabilities. That's so cute! The groom's father and mother, I'll use GM, own the building. Now I need to preface, I'm used to dealing with difficult people at weddings, as I'm sure most vendors are. There are many horror stories. Can you imagine the conventions? Oh, spilling all the tea. At the beginning of the day, I met the GM, who I thought was nice. I thought. The GF was kind of a butt, but again, I'm used to dealing with those people. It's just like sock puppets yelling in my ear. I'm used to this hobbosh. Hobbosh? That's not even a word. Maybe I meant hogwash? No, hobbosh. I'm sticking to it. They want their son's day to be perfect, and I can respect that. There were a few instances in which the GF would flat out tell me, no, we aren't going to do that. Okay. When I was directing people and telling them what we had next on the timeline, but I thought that was as bad as it was going to get. I was wrong, unfortunately. Dinner rolls around, the bride and groom and entire bridal party have gone through the dinner line. Keep in mind, the dinner was served in an attached room to the dining area, not visible to the guests. Me and Allie go to the wedding coordinator and ask if we are good to eat, to which she says we are. Oh, I think I see where this is going. She even goes and grabs us plates and cutlery. I go ahead to the buffet, as the other tables haven't been dismissed yet. I happen to be at the parents of the groom. Allie went downstairs to sort out the equipment. GM looks at me, appalled, but I didn't think anything of it. Is this gonna be one of those you can't eat at all during the wedding? Because those are horrifying. Let your people eat. Like, they're doing all this work for you. After getting through the line, she pulls me onto the corner of the attached outdoor porch and begins telling me that I have offended and disrespected her and the entire family. How so, madam? I apologize and ask what's wrong, and she said she can't believe I ate before everyone else at the wedding. Okay? I tell her that it's in the contract and the timeline, and it's what we always do. She starts to get teary-eyed and calls for GF. Why the weaponized tears? Why? She's so offended by really just them eating. Why are you just offended that they went before you? Like, it's nothing disrespectful. Like, they just want to eat as they're trying to fit in time to eat for their job. Like, this has nothing to do with you, in fact. Like, please take 2 steps back. Evaluate what you're doing here. This man is over 6'5" and honestly terrifying. I am only 5'6", and again, just a second shooter. That is... Bruh, I'm 4'9". If I had to... I'm about to be squashed. He physically sticks his finger in my face, getting ready to fight, and says I am the sloppiest vendor he has ever worked with and he would never recommend me to anyone. Are you kidding me, dude? What is your freaking problem?
I want to fight for you.
This went on for probably about 10 minutes. Why 10 minutes? What is the matter with you? Ugh, poor people. Like, when people are frustrated at weddings, they just always take them out on the vendors. Like, why? Leave them alone. They're just doing their job. I'm sure that OP has done a fantastic job despite your whining. Why do some people do that? They just keep going and going. It's like, I get it. You don't like me. Now leave me alone. They kept calling me sloppy and rude and keeping me cornered on the porch. Oh my... You're literally bullying her. Ugh. Let me at him. Ugh, getting up on her like that? I'm so mad. I was crying a bit, but trying to keep it together until Allie came over with a plate of food. They started yelling at her too, because they're just eating. Dude, stop it. They started yelling at her too. Groom's sister came over to try to placate them, but it didn't help as GM was in tears and GF was still pissed at me. For eating? Because again, they're so upset about them getting food before them. Why? Aren't these grandparents? You should be ashamed. Grandparents are all about everyone eating. I need to go back to grandparent class. I mean, they may not be grandparents, but I mean, if the bride and groom are in their like 20s or something, the parents are probably old enough to be grandparents. Come on. Get with the good energy. None of this nonsense. Allie pointed out that as per our contract, she's literally pulling it up, putting it in their face.
Read it, man.
As per our contract with the bride and groom, we eat right after the bridal party in order to have enough time to eat and set up for the reception. Do you want us not to eat?
Do ya? Do you want us to not eat?
That's what I thought. And yet they don't care because they said we were the most disrespectful and shameless vendors they had ever met in the 30 weddings that had happened at their venue. Dude, it's food. Allie and I were both crying at this point. Groom's sister walked the parents away from us and we turned around and threw the food away, having lost our appetites. Poor things. It was the worst encounter I've ever had at a wedding, to be yelled at out of nowhere like that over food. Just because they went before you. How dare. Bruh, what is going on in your life that you just like are losing your mind at people just trying to eat? You don't have good grandparent energy and I'm sad for you. Like, yes, they're doing a job, but they're still people. Just let them eat their food. And now they can't because they're not hungry anymore because you yelled at them. How could anyone be so okay with doing that to someone? Like, they were clearly, like, upset by you sticking your grubby finger in their face, yelling at them for probably 30 minutes or something. Like, we get it. You don't like me, but will you just let me eat? I just can't imagine doing that to someone. That's so mean. It was also in Allie's contract that if anyone made us uncomfortable during the wedding, we have full rights to leave. It's sad that you have to have any kind of clause in that, but unfortunately, with some people, it makes sense. We ended up staying and trying to make the most of it. GF knocked into both of us subtly at different points. Let me at him! The gremlin's coming out! As we walked past him during the reception. How childish, dude. That's an insult to children, because, like, to hold this much anger in your heart, just why? They're just doing their jobs. Bride and groom were incredible and didn't hear a word about the incident. I will never be giving that coffee shop my business as a customer anymore. I mean, was it the... Oh, because they own it! I completely forgot! Oh my gosh. Jeez. Unfortunately, I do still see the parents at the grocery store occasionally because I live close. Ugh. Do they still get mad at you when you're first in line to buy your food? But it was a learning experience. Yeah, it gives me nightmares. If you made it this far, thanks for reading, and I hope you never experience the same thing. Yeah, I sure hope not. Bro, I just can't imagine, like, having the gall to treat someone like that just for happened to be in front of you to get food. What, do you think because you own the wedding venue, like you deserve food before them? Like, dude, just let them eat. I've heard that, like, of that kind of thing, that like people will get mad at vendors for eating or sitting down. It's like, dude, I'm not a robot. Leave me be. I appreciate that they have like that in a clause of like, if you make me uncomfy, I leaving. That should probably be a common practice. You want it all for free? About 10 years ago, oh, that's a long time, I had a metalworking project with 2.5-inch stainless steel tubing, and when it was done, I had several feet left, made a walkway guardrail and some other stuff, including some large garden arches with plant shelves for my wife. The wife posts them on Facebag. What the heck? A bag for your faces. Imagine you look into a bag, and it's just a bunch of faces looking up at you and go, hello, another friend. And random woman shows up wanting to borrow one for wedding arch. We don't know her. She saw the pictures and contacted my wife about them, and my wife told her they were too big to move around, but she showed up anyway. At your house? How did she find you? Did she just appear out of the bag of faces? First it's borrow, and I tell her that they are too large for a pickup truck, and being stainless, they are quite heavy. Took a forklift to put them in place, and they are anchored to the ground. They are attached to the ground, madam. No. She says she can get someone to pick one up, then wants me to get a forklift to load it. Nope. I have to cut it loose from its anchors and re-weld it when it gets back, and I never intended to move it. This is not a bounce house castle you can just deflate and move. This is something that's anchored to the ground. I shan't move it. I have to move large landscaping stone blocks just to get to it. Again, they don't know her. This is a stranger to them, which again, how in the world did she get to their house? Because this is at their house, right? She's not having any of it. She must have that arch or it will ruin her baby's wedding. There are other arches out there. You can make one, you can order one. Why specifically these arches? No, 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 no. You gotta love the stories where people are like, if we don't do this thing, then you're ruining my wedding. It's like, there are other options. Did you consider that before you came and screamed at me? The only thing ruining your wedding is you, really, because there are other options out there that are just as like, you know, good or cheap or whatever. You're the one doing this here. You could choose to do something else. Then she wants me to paint it white. The point of stainless is you don't have to paint it. Ever. Has she just been not listening this entire time? She comes in here, a complete stranger, demanding to take your arches and make all these alterations. Is she just coming in here like not listening at all? You don't know me at all. I found you on Facebook, but I want you to move it for my baby's wedding. No, I can't do this. What do you, why are you still here? I don't about so that we can, honey, are you hearing this? I don't, why are you here? You don't understand. We can't move this. I'm not gonna move it. And it's a pain in the butt to sand / prep / prime / paint polish stainless, and afterwards the stainless will need the sanding scratches polished out again, which I'm not about to do, so hard no. I don't even know you. How are you here? Begging, tears, accusations of permanently damaging her daughter, screaming. Please stop. Like, why are you doing this? What? Why? This is completely unsolicited. Like, I don't even know you. Like, you're asking me to do something that's extremely hard to do for a stranger. I'm not in charge of your life or your wedding. Just stop. My wife tells her she can have one made. It costs about $4,400 and have it painted someplace else, but she doesn't want to pay for the arch. We're supposed to lend it for free. I don't even know you. What is happening? What do you mean we're supposed to? We're not supposed to do anything. You are... How are you here? What is going on? Crazy Lady goes dark for about 2 weeks. That's terrifying. Then I get a call from my wife. Crazy Lady is in the driveway with other people. A pickup truck, which the arch won't fit into, and the county sheriff? What? She's holding a receipt for the arches, both with a sale price of $200, which was obviously home printed. You gotta be kidding me. She's trying to say that they sold it to her with a receipt that she printed out. That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. I can't believe that. That's so funny. No business name, no business or home address, no signatures, and is expecting the deputy sheriff to enforce. Deputy lives about 2 miles up the road and I've known him for 30 years. I'm better friends with him than he is with you. Her family/friends are all arguing aggressively with my wife. What? What? The deputy was in between and crazy lady is screaming. I told the deputy what had went on, then he talked to my wife while I held the entitled nut jobs off, and the deputy finally kicked them off the property. With the help of 2 more deputies, the first had to call in for backup. It wasn't even just her, it was the entire Are they okay? What in I am just baffled, my dudes. Like, wow. I can't tell you how the wedding went, but it wasn't under my wife's arches. Nope, I'm not moving 4,000-pound stone blocks, tearing up my yard, getting a cutting torch to cut the arches loose, getting my fork truck from my shop out to my home and back again, and reversing the process to lend the arches to anyone, let alone a complete stranger. As a side note, she did give ideas to some friends. There had been 2 sets of wedding pictures under the arches. What? Huh? You let them take pictures? But the arches stayed right where I put them and no crazy Momzillas involved. That was so wild. How did this even happen and why did you let it continue? I have questions. That just takes audacity to a whole nother level. That is an insane level of entitlement. I don't even. My brain is breaking as we speak. The cogs in my noggin are spinning rapidly. You can smell the smoke. You can smell and see the smoke coming from my brain. Oh, that one part though, where she tried to like convince people that she bought them. Oh, some people. That part in particular was a good laugh. But the rest of it, I'm just like in physical pain almost, because what? I reject your cake and substitute my own. What audacity am I about to see? This is a short tale about one of the wildest things I've ever seen at a wedding. We're off to such a strong start. Not the worst wedding I've ever been to, but certainly the most WTF. About 15 years ago, I was a guest at a big New York, New Jersey wedding. Between a New Yorker and a New Jersey? Yes, between the states. No, between 2 people who are from those places. I barely knew the groom, a cousin's cousin. My cousin's boyfriend's dog's nail groomer's wife. Yep. I'd barely met and mostly I was invited since I'd been living with my aunt at the time for college and she was close with the groom. The church wedding service goes off without a hitch and the bride, groom, and their families are doing some quick group photos outside while most of the guests head off to the cocktail hour and reception. That's where the first sign of trouble starts. That's where it always starts. I need to observe the cake stealer. The bride's mother starts throwing a fit that the bride's family should have priority for photos. But they're both getting married. You both are important. Like, they should go first? I feel like that normally happens anyway. I think it just so happens that this time you start with the groom. Why does that matter? It's not gonna take that long. She actually physically stopped the photographer. Oh, what are you doing? Are you throwing the cake at them? That's what happened to it. From taking a group shot of about 15 people to make them wait for her family to be ready. Gah. Photos can take a bit of time, but it doesn't take that long. Girly pop. You need a lollipop because your blood sugar seems low. That's why she's stealing the cake. Yeah, the bride looked mortified. Poor thing. That is so embarrassing. And the bride's father and groom's parents had to step in and keep mom from causing a scene. It's like, it's just weird when people do things without regard to how it's going to affect, especially in this case, the main people, the main reason that this event is even happening. I totally get wanting to make sure like your side of the family gets photos. That's gonna happen. Trust the photographer to do their job. That poor person just like, give me a sec. Somebody let slip that the bride and groom had paid for the whole wedding themselves, and the bride's mom was furious that she had been cut out of planning after she had repeatedly tried to change things between between the bride's back, behind the bride's back. Wow. I don't blame them for wanting to do it themselves, because then they don't have to worry about her butting her head in. She seemed to try to anyway. And that's like, that depends on you either. You know, if you want to pay for it, or if you want, like, traditionally parents to pay for it. Either way's fine, but I bet that was nice. They could just, we're just gonna take care of it. With that smoothed over and photos done, the reception gets underway. A lovely event at some reception hall with a garden, open bar, the works. A garden? Oh, that's so pretty. Suddenly it turns into, I almost said Ice Princess. That's the wrong princess movie. Princess Diaries, where they fall into the fountain. As she's sneaking out with the cake, she falls in. An hour or two in, they're getting ready to serve food, and suddenly they're shouting from the direction of the kitchen. An entrance hall, a lot of shouting. What now? The bride's mother had replaced the cake. Who does that? Unless there's a sidebar and the couple is like, hey, we actually don't really like this cake. Can you like do us a solid? That'd be completely different. She just, I don't like this cake. I'm gonna do mine instead. Do you need some crumpets with that audacity? And was attempting to move the original cake, a beautiful 2-foot tall number, out of the building on a serving cart. That's half my size. I am 4'9". That's like half my size. Let's just say for giggles that the mother-in-law is my height. Can you imagine? Someone trying to secretly cart something out that's half their size. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't. Only a raised lip on the tile floor had kept her from wheeling the cart and cake out the door on a mad dash to the parking lot. What are you doing? What are you doing? There's no need. One of the groomsmen going out for a smoke had found her struggling to get the cart over a small bump and raised the alarm. That's right, the venue has a cake stealer alarm because this weirdly happens a lot. Can you imagine? He's just sitting there and you just see in the corner of his eye, sees the cake moving and then sees her right behind it. They lock eyes. There's just a really awkward moment for a second. She goes, "Don't you dare." His eyes swipe to the alarm, just a big red button. Continues eye contact as he slams it. Like some terrible heist movie, her whole plan was to steal a several $100 gourmet masterpiece and replace it with a cheap Walmart-looking cake that had presumably been in the trunk of her car all afternoon. Have you ever heard of the sun? It's like during the hottest part of the summer in Texas in a black car. Imagine everything's like melted off, depending on how like melty it even is. Let's say she was successful in replacing the cake. It's all melted, so she just puts a smiley face on it. Perfect. With the message, "Joke's on you, losers." She's already gone. Once they see the cake, they just hear the skidding of the car. And hoped nobody noticed. All because she was mad she didn't get her way. Wait, so this was retaliatory? She didn't get away about the photo, so her first thought was steal the cake? And the funny part is, she probably got the pictures just fine. Suffice it to say, after much shouting in the hallway, the real cake was rescued, the imposter cake disposed of into her face, and the bride's mother spent the rest of the reception sitting in her car sulking. What in the world? A whole cartoon, dude. Like, is this the plot to Tom and Jerry, one of their episodes? Sure sounds like it. Honestly, the bride's poise at the whole thing was impressive, but I gather this probably wasn't the first time her mother went a little crazy. The rest of the reception was a blast. Nobody seemed to miss the mother much, and it was certainly one of the most memorable events I've ever attended. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget this story. Like, pull yourself together, Elastigirl. The feel-good finale today is something completely unrelated. This is camping with a beaver. I have just had one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I am truck camping in Vermont as I am a trailer worker and finishing a project in the state. I am camped at this canoe boat launch as all the state parks are closed for the season. Being next to a wetlands waterway, I immediately looked for some beaver activity and found some old chewings. Nummy nummy num. I actually came across a video of a beaver cutting down a tree. It was really cool. Like, they'll always stop and listen to which side it's gonna fall, and then they run away if it's gonna fall on their side. Judging by their age and the lack of any noticeable damming, I don't think it'd be spelled with an N. Those damning beavers. They cast curses if you trespass into their land. As they should. We should stay out of their way. I assumed they had moved out a few years ago and that the area was inactive. I made my dinner and was enjoying a pipe and looking at the twilight sky. That sounds serene. As I heard someone chewing. Hello. I immediately froze and listened intently, ears a perk. Then I heard it again and it was louder. I froze my mouth wide open and face stuck in a huge smile. As I slowly and silently walked towards the noise, I heard some splashing and waddling through tall grass, and then to my right, I heard another beaver. There were 2 of them. They were married. You were having your dinner, they were having theirs. One working on a smallish sized brush tree, and the other working on some smaller branches. I barely contained my joy, but kept silent, as you should. It's the best way to be around wild animals, like you observe happily, but you leave them alone. Good job. It was near pitch darkness at this point, and I couldn't see anything but could hear them perfectly as they were but 10 to 15 feet away from me. Wow, they're pretty close to you, huh? That's the best, when you're just like vibing with some wildlife. After about 30 minutes of silently listening and trying to get a few recordings, I heard a tail slap further to my right and yet another beaver had emerged. Yes, potentially a family. It's the baby. Oh! This one crossed the wetland stream, dividing us, and was now on my side. I could hear it walking around and chewing limbs. So close. I thought I may have died and gone to heaven. You sound so sweet to be around. Soon after the first beaver felled its tree, I could hear it delimbing the tree and moving through the branches. I remained outside for another 15 to 20 minutes with a huge smile on my face, staring at the stars, listening to them work, and thanking the universe that I had been here tonight. Oh! That's the best! Unfortunately, it's currently 20 degrees, and as much as I would love to stay out and listen to the beavers all night, I must curl up in my sleeping bag. You typed this in the moment. You are so cute. So now here I lay, all bundled up in the bed of my truck, and telling you all this amazing life experience I just had. I wish you all to have something similar in your life. That's something I will never forget, and I'm so grateful that I was able to experience it. That was so cute! I will always happily take a feel-good finale over the tomfoolery. I like doing these. It's nice to end with a smile. What's funny is when I read the sentence, oh, I hope you all experience this. I've experienced trying to sleep and there's wildlife nearby. It was when I was having a sleepover on a trampoline and then a bunch of raccoons went under it and started messing with us. And so me and everyone was starting to jump in fear and screaming. It's like the middle of the night. And they eventually went away. Well, where it started is there was a girl that was in on the sleepover, but she was getting mad for some reason. And she started to walk back home at first, and she just lived in the neighborhood, so there was a few houses away. But for some reason she then begrudgingly came back, but then she refused to sleep on the trampoline. She decided to sleep on the ground for some reason. And then we were all just sleeping, and then suddenly we heard her scream, and we're like, what? And then I think she started screaming raccoons, raccoons! And they were under the trampoline, and so she hopped on, and we were all just jumping, panicking, because it's what are teenage girls supposed to do about this situation? Not as peaceful as yours. I'm glad yours was much more pleasant than mine was. I love raccoon videos, though. They're so funny. But yeah, eventually they went away, and then we were like, good night, everybody. All right, well, that is it. As always, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate you. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video's brightened your day at least a little bit. If you have any stories about weddings or beavers or whatever else you want, you can either email me or there's links in the description. And our comment of the video is Lar in a Crisis. I love that name. I have an important fact you need to know. The term for mixing up the beginning of words is a spoonerism. Spoonerism? That's adorable! Thank you for that. I love that little trivia fact. That's like when you have a platonic crush. That's called a squish. A squish! Ugh, sometimes humans are so cute. When coming up with definitions for words, they're like, how about this? And everyone's like, yes! Take care of yourselves and each other. Do your best to be a good human, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!